Good morning everyone, welcome to Our Small Footprint. My name is Nyssa, and if you're new here, we are a large family living off-grid in Australia. It is Sunday, and on Sundays I normally do some cooking, some chatting, some updates and all that sort of stuff. I normally do it of a morning because Darryl and most of the kids go to church for the morning, but we've actually had a head cold go through the whole house this week, and Darryl didn't want to risk taking any sort of cold flu type thing to church where their congregation is predominantly elderly, so they didn't go this morning. That has thrown me off a little bit, which is fine, but that's just the way it is, because normally I have some sort of alone time to come out and sort of just chat and figure out what I'm doing and things like that, and instead I haven't had that. So it is already 12:30 for today, but we're gonna have some chats and figure things out and sort out what we're doing in the way of cooking and baking as well. Interruption number one, and I've already forgotten where I'm at. So what we're going to do, we're going to do our normal catch up. We've got a few things. It's been a bit of a crappy week, which feels like what I say most weeks these days. I think the problem too is that sometimes I get to the end of a week and I'm sharing something and I feel like I should have made more progress, but a week isn't actually that long. It is, but it isn't when you're actually, the one in the week doing things. So, Anyway, we had all our Polish chickens hatch a few weeks ago, and we had a really successful hatch. There was more than just the Polish, there was also some Hamburgs and stuff that we hatched, and I think we had, I want to say like 23 chicks that hatched. 25 maybe, I can't remember. Anyway, we had a lot, and we don't normally hatch that many, and our brooder is not really made to hold that many for very long. So about 3.5 weeks in, they had nearly all their feathers because we take the heat away fairly early when they're inside and the weather's warm and things like that, and we moved them out to our tractor, which is a secured triangle tractor that's out in the middle of the U, not in the chicken pens but near the chicken pen sort of thing, and we moved them out there, and then we've had some really inclement weather. We've had rainstorms, we've had hail, we've had bushfires all around us and smoke and all the rest of it. Anyway, we went out to the tractor in the morning to feed and water the chicks, and there was a couple dead. No reason why, nothing got into the pen or anything else, there was just a couple dead. So we brought them all back inside into the brooder to try and have a look at them. Actually, there was a couple dead, and then a couple of hours later there was a couple more, I think it was, which is why we brought them all inside into the brooder. And it turns out they're probably a dose of coccidosis, which is a very normal, like a very common thing with chickens, and actually most chickens have it. It's a parasite, and it exists in most poultry. But if your animals are adults and healthy and have good diets and have good living arrangements and all the rest of it, then they're unlikely to suffer from any adverse effects from it. You can vaccinate, or you can, I don't think it's a vaccination, I think there is medication you can give to chickens, but we use medicated feed, starter feed, which has medication in it that is supposed to help with coccidosis as well. But the problem was we had all this bad weather, this inclement weather. We haven't been able to get fresh hay because we didn't have the ute back, and so the brooder was a little bit bare. We used what hay we could scrounge up, but it was from the previous batch of hay, and it got wet. The brooder got wet anyway. We assumed that that's what has taken out the chickens, so we actually lost, I think, 15 of them over the span of a couple of days. It's been 4 days now since we lost the last one, so we have 9 left, and they all seem to have recovered fine. So it basically causes a diarrhea, but with it can be blood that they're passing as well, and so they get anemic, and then they get tired, and then they won't eat and they won't drink, and then they pass away. And it doesn't generally affect adults or healthy chickens and things like that. Normally only babies are susceptible to it because they're babies, like a lot of things. So we have 9 left out of that 20-something clutch, which is really sad. They were expensive eggs too, because we bought them in specifically because Sonnet wanted a flock of bantams. I haven't decided whether I will purchase more bantam eggs to bump the flock numbers up, because at the moment it's not really enough to maintain a flock of just bantams in their own pen and things like that. So I will make the decision on that. At the moment, we are nursing those chickens back to health inside, especially with the weather is overcast and potentially rainy again. We got the ute back this week. We had to pay the extra $4 grand and we got the ute back. It still has an error light that is flashing that the mechanics basically couldn't figure out and don't want to anymore, which is, we're in a bit of a rock and a hard place. We don't have much choice. We need the ute back, and we just got to hope that that error flashing issue is not something that's going to be severely detrimental, and try and keep troubleshooting it. So we have the ute back now. We can organise to go and get some more hay. We'll try and do that this week or next weekend. Normally Darryl goes after church, but with the weather and the fact that he didn't go to church today, it wasn't ideal to do it today. So maybe next week, and we'll get some hay, and that will help with bedding down all the pens and stuff too, which will make a difference. But once we get these chickens healthy and back out again, we will need to sanitize absolutely everything that has come in contact with them, because the way that it's normally transferred is through feces. So the parasite can live, and then the other chickens can consume it, and then they get a viral load of it that is too much for them to tolerate. This is all personal experience, personal research and preference. So if I'm saying anything not quite right, this interruption number 2. So where was I? So anything I've said about this and about how we're dealing with it is personal use, personal preference, personal experience. It's not coming from any medical standpoint. So obviously this is just letting you know about our experience and how we're dealing with it, not something to follow by. This is actually the first time we've ever had it. As I said, we use medicated starter feed. We have very clean, dry pens, generally speaking. We always have fresh hay. The chickens are in an indoor and on the patio in a brooder, and then there's a secondary brooder that they go to, and then they go into the trailer. It's just a tractor. It's just been a little bit of a confluence of events that caused issues. I don't really know. But in the 7 years or whatever that we've been out here, and in the sort of 4 years that I've been hatching and raising chicks and all the rest of it, we've never had it. So I don't know what caused the issue or why it was an issue all of a sudden. As I said, I just think it was a bunch of different things that all happened, and just the perfect ripe environment, and it sucks. So we've had to bury a lot of 4-week-old chicks, and it's been very sad. We had a failed hatch as well post that. So I had a full incubator of our blue-green eggs from our own Aracunas, and only got 2 to hatch. We had an issue with the incubator, went over temperature, and then it dropped humidity and we couldn't maintain it, and we only got 2 out of it, which is a bit sucky because those 2 little tiny babies are in a tote at the moment because we have the other chickens inside and we need to sanitize everything, sunlight and all the rest of it. We may even pull that brooder apart and rebuild it, but there's only 2 of them, and so they yell all the time because there's only 2 of them and they don't like being lonely. So we will just, I actually have incubators full again because I had more eggs coming, which I wouldn't have ordered if I had this whole thing happen beforehand, but they were already pre-ordered and already posted, and that's life. So they are some really pretty eggs, though. I got them brought in because I'm having trouble getting dark green eggs out of the chickens, and I really wanted some dark green olive eggers, and I think some of the ones that are going to start laying soon will do that. But in the meantime, we ordered some rainbow eggs to add into the genetics of the pens. That's the other thing too, though, is that chickens that we hatch from our own eggs, generally speaking, we never have a problem with. We never have sickness, we never have anything like that. They all do really well. And it's eggs that we buy in that we have problems with, and that's partly because they're potentially raised in a lot less unpleasant environments than our chickens are. Like, we do the absolute best we can. Our chickens are very well cared for, especially compared to a lot of chickens out in this sort of environment. But at the same time, they do have low temperatures, high temperatures, a lot of sand, a lot of other animals in the vicinity and things like that. And so they're very hardy. They lay all year round, even during winter. We have negative temperatures and they still tolerate it fine and things like that. So our own chickens are very hardy, and we find that this first generation of buying in eggs aren't necessarily, but the chicks that they have are the nice sturdy ones. So we will just see. Anyway, that was just a big ramble on our chickens and the, you know, added disasters of this week's chicken. And yeah, anyway, so we got the ute back. We've had the chicken issues. We've had a couple of trips to Toowoomba for appointments and stuff this week as well. We do have James coming tomorrow, which is amazing. So it is Sunday at the moment. So on Monday he had a job that got pushed out, and he's going to come out and help us try and get we will have a look at this kitchen roof. We will assess how we can do that depending on the dogs and everything else. But at least getting the other 2 patio roofs will be great, because we do have water ingress because they don't have the roofs on them, and getting the panels up on the roof so that we can get the secondary solar for the house sorted as well, which will allow me to 3D print more outside of the daylight hours. I did put the Vader and Trooper Star Wars Christmas things up on the website, so I'll put a photo in here to remind you of them, but they are available to order on the website. And I do have a whole bunch of this line of chunks. It's done by a company called Kit Kiln, and I buy the files from them, and I have a commercial tier membership, so I can print and sell these, and they have huge amounts. So I've got 4 of the Ninja Turtles currently printing at the moment for someone who wanted the 4 Ninja Turtles, but we also have some Nutcrackers. I'll put a photo in here of the Nutcrackers, and just about anything you can think of. I really want to do, there's the Ghostbusters and the Ghostbusters van, and that I really want to print, and there's all the Harry Potters and Buzz and Woody and all these sorts of things. There's some really cool ones, and I'd love to get a single one of them all printed and then photograph them and offer them to be as like print on purchase sort of thing. So that's something that I'm trying to work towards but haven't got there yet. Just getting everything else done at the same time. A lot of people should have got postage notifications over the last week, and there will be more going out early this week as well. I had a bit of a hold up on some pot holders that I had to order some more DTF prints for. I went to print them, and the DTFs that I have been sitting there since last year, and they just were not transferring properly. So I have a few of those that is in the post. It's supposed to arrive tomorrow. I probably won't be able to pick it up till Tuesday morning though, and then I should be able to quickly heat press all of those and have them all posted for Wednesday, Thursday. So anyone waiting on pot holders, that is if there's a pot holder in your order, that is the hold up on those. And I also sent off, we will have a look. I designed a bunch of Christmas Australian style t-shirts. I put a couple of images in here of some samples, and I sent them off to be printed because I had to print the pot holder DTFs. I decided that I'd get some t-shirt DTFs done as well, and we'll use them. But I might look at offering some. We'll see. I'll have a look if you want to, if there's any interest. But I've left it really late, and of course, workload-wise, I keep on making more work for myself. But yeah, so all right. So interruption number, I don't know how many. And we've now had lunch, dinners, dishes, and everything been done, and the kids are watching a movie. So I've got a little bit of kid-free time in the kitchen. I have no idea what I've said and what I haven't, and how much I've gone into things and how much I haven't. It's been a little bit, yeah, I'll have to bring it all onto the computer and have a listen and try and record something to go in between if need be. But it's now 2:30 in the afternoon and I need to get the chicken sorted that I was going to get sorted. So that was to be today's task. We had leftover hamburger rolls with some eggs and stuff for lunch tonight, and then I had defrosted some chicken breasts out of the freezer, pulled them out yesterday I think it was, and I bought myself a meat mallet to flatten out meat, and so the idea was I'm just going to fillet them and make a bunch of Schnitzels type thing, just crumbed fillets, and then we'll have some of them tonight with some veggies and gravy and chips or something, mashed potato. I don't think I've got any potatoes, which is why I said chips, frozen potato of some sort. And then the rest can be flash frozen for having on wraps and on salads and with other things throughout the rest of the month. It won't last very long, and we will probably eat a large portion of it in this meal, but it would be nice to have some. It may not even make it to the freezer. It might be eaten out of the fridge over the next couple of days. I'm still trying to figure out whether I get another bulk meat order. The plan was to get one more bulk meat order this year before Christmas. There's a Black Friday sale that always happens around about the 21st of November, and they normally have some good deals. But I'm not sure if budget will stretch, or if I'll leave myself short for the groceries if I do that. So I have to decide on that. And if I don't do that, then I'm going to have to buy a fair bit of meat when I go grocery shopping potentially, but I'll need to do a proper inventory. We still do have some breasts and thighs in the fridge, that's fine, in the freezer, that's fine, but we don't have much in the way of other stuff that will be left at the end of this period. So there's another 3 weeks until I go shopping, so we'll probably use most of what's left of other stuff before then. I'll have to have a think, and we'll go into that when closer to the shopping. There's going to be a whole lot of planning for the shopping for this trip because Christmas. I'm going to take the trailer with me. We'll see. Anyway, I'm going to go pull that chicken out of the fridge and we'll get started on that. And I'll try and think if there's anything else. All right, so I filleted all the chicken and I've been starting to get this sorted. So I've got some seasoned flour here. It's got garlic, salt, pepper, onion, paprika in it. I got some eggs that we're then putting it in, and then panko breadcrumbs. Now, these are the Costco panko breadcrumbs. They're quite a large texture, which is it makes for really crunchy chicken, but doesn't make it stick very well. But I don't know that that's such a bad thing, because it means that there's less breadcrumb to chicken ratio, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Like, I love crumb chicken, but at the same time, it's not the healthiest thing for you. Anyway, so we got 4 kilos. I'm just going through. I filleted the big pieces. Some of these are 10, and I beat the big pieces with the meat mallet. But there's also tenderloins and stuff in here too, which I didn't beat because they don't need to, being tenderloins and all. So I'm just going through and I'm cooking them all off and putting them on a tray. Afterwards, on a rack over a tray to drain afterwards, and I'm just going to work through the whole lot. There's about, I don't know, 2 centimeters of oil in the bottom of the pan, cast iron pans, just enough to climb up the sides and fry the crumbs off nicely, but we're not deep frying them, just shallow frying them, because it's less messy, less oil usage, and slightly better for you. Slightly. Not a whole lot, but slightly. I tried to leave as much of it as I could in the bigger pieces just to make my life easier, to make this a bit of a quicker job, because breading 4 kilos of chicken and frying it off is still a little bit of an arduous job, and it's hot and muggy and I just don't feel fantastic, but I defrosted it, so it needs to be done, so we're doing it. Alright, so I've got the last tray frying off at the moment, but this is what they look like, these really crispy, crunchy, Japanese-style fillets, I suppose, using the Japanese panko crumbs. A bit like what you'd find in the Japanese katsu curry and things like that. But they'll work really well like this, or sliced up in a whole bunch of meals. And with James coming tomorrow, this means that lunch is done tomorrow, potentially dinner as well. Could even make a pasta and slice some up over it or whatever. But this is done, and it means we can spend the whole day doing all the construction stuff and not have to worry about food. There is plenty of wraps. I can always do a flatbread dough up and the kids can fry that off if that's what they want. I think there is hamburger buns in the freezer, things like that. So there's cabbage that I can make some coleslaw up, you know, all the choices. So that's done for now. I will let them cool under a cover until we put them in the fridge. But yeah, that's the chicken done. It's time consuming. It's now 4 o'clock. What time did I say I was out here before? Was it like 2:30? So an hour and a half each to do the whole lot, to fill it 4 kilos, to bread it, to fry it and everything else. But it's quite a few meals and it is worth it. So that's done. As for anything else that needs discussing, it's been a week. I feel like I say that a lot lately. I've been collating all the recipes that I want to cook for Christmas. I don't know if I don't think I've had a chance to say. I was thinking about the recipes that I want to cook for Christmas. Now, part of the reason that I cook, like I do Vlogmas and stuff normally, is that I do these things on the days during December because we use December as the Christmas month and make the most of the whole month, not just Christmas Day. Because Christmas Day, for me, Christmas Day is more work, effort and stress than anything else. I don't really enjoy Christmas Day. I get stressed in the lead up to it. I get frustrated with children because children are children and they are ignorant and selfish and children, and that's just children. And I work my butt off to do Christmas the way I remember Christmas being, except that when I was a kid and we did Christmas, we did it normally at my aunt's place, and there was Mum and Auntie Gay and my Nana and everyone else preparing for Christmas. It wasn't just one person. And then I'm only one of 2 kids and Auntie Gay only has 1 kid, and so there was only, half a dozen kids at the most underfoot between all these adults too, whereas I've been trying to do it all these years on my own with 6 kids underfoot, and I struggle because I want to make Christmas how I remember it. I want it to be the nostalgia of it, and it's not actually feasible. And every year I tell myself I'm going to go simpler, I'm going to go easier, I'm going to stop trying to make it, stop trying to force myself to write, and every year I still fail at that because it's still Christmas. It's one of those things, isn't it? It's like a mum guilt thing and everything else. And so what I've been doing most of these years too, as part of Vlogmas, is that I get to do those things that I would bake, like baking and treats and stuff throughout December, and I don't have to push myself to do them for Christmas Day and things like that. So I don't know whether I'll be doing daily vlogs or anything this year. I never manage it anyway. Normally I say I'm going to do Vlogmas and I don't manage it. But the plan is to pick out a whole bunch of recipes of things that we've made before and things that we haven't. I've been looking at some international type Christmas desserts, or just desserts from different places. There's a lady on YouTube here, Cecilia Talone, I think her name is, and she works out of Sweden. She's American, lives in Sweden, and I've seen her videos come up because she runs a Saturday bakery. I won't try and mangle the name of it. And she bakes all sorts of rolls and Swedish treats and stuff, and I thought I might try some of them. She makes a knack, which is basically a butterscotch toffee, which looked really nice, and the kids, I don't think I've made homemade toffee for them in a very long time. So I thought I'd make those at some point. I was looking at, there's an espresso martini trifle, which I might make closer to Christmas, but that sounds really nice, and try and make the individual pieces. I had a few things on my list. There's a Christmas shortbread on cookie dough that someone pointed out, and I really love biscotti and things like that. So what I might try and do is make them with the kids, but I might get started on that soon and just record them each day as this is, and that's what we're baking in the day, and create each one into its standalone video, and maybe film them a little bit ahead of time and put a few out a week over December, because of course I've got groceries and stuff in December as well. So I don't want to make myself feel excessively rushed, but I also want to make it Christmassy, and it's really hard. I know that I'm my own worst enemy when it comes to doing stuff. Like I have I'm the one who pushes myself to do more, to get more, to offer more, to all that sort of stuff. I'm the one who pushes that. It's not anyone else, it's me. And I am just not able to not do that. That is just inherently in my makeup, that I'm not very good at doing nothing. I'm not very good at being bored. I'm not very good at sitting still. I'm not very good at letting things slide, and that sort of thing. And when it comes to, you add Christmas into that mix, and you've got there's some stresses there, and the heat really gets to me, and every year I forget, but the heat is just, it's not great. So anyway, this feels a little bit of a downer video, and I apologize for that, but it's been a week, and leading into the Christmas period, it's always this excitement of Christmas, but also the expectations and the I don't know. It's a hard one. Holiday seasons. That's the thing, isn't it? Birthdays and holiday seasons, they have their pros and their cons. So anyway, so that's what I'm going to plan to do. So a few people in Discord sent me some recipes. We're going to try and do some Oreo cheesecake balls and things like that. And Kelly let me know that there is a Christmas Oreo out at the moment. So I actually couldn't get that close by, but I did find it half price at Coles and managed to get it delivered to Mum's place. So that's really cool. And so we've got those ones waiting at Mum's for when I go. Darryl is going to go into Toowoomba, I think at 28th or something. He's got to go in for an appointment. So if I need a few things for baking purposes, I will get him to collect them then, and that'll just be like removed from the normal groceries and added onto the total for those. So that'll be good. But yeah, so if you have any ideas of things that you think I should give a go, please put them in the comments, because I'm looking at some out of the ordinary stuff. Not too difficult though, but out of the ordinary stuff to try. And someone suggested fruit mince pies, and you know, I've never had a fruit mince pie because I'm not really into dried fruit. Like I don't like pudding, Christmas pudding either. But I do like to make these things sometimes for the kids because I don't like them, they've never been offered them. And that annoys me that I don't do that. So sometimes I buy things or make things that I'm not going to eat, but to give the kids an opportunity to. So I might make some fruit mince pies for the kids to try as well. I won't eat them, Darryl won't eat them, but the kids might like them. They love dried fruit, so I don't see why they wouldn't. But yeah, so we're going to do that over December. So I have no idea how long this video is or what I've rambled about or what I haven't or anything else, but it is my Sunday squirrel. I will leave it there because I'm going to get this chicken put away, and we're getting stuff ready for when James arrives in the morning to make sure that we get as much done as possible while he's here. And I think I've got some stuff on the 3D printers that's finished that I need to pull off, and some more parcels to potentially pack up. So yeah, I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you very much for watching.